because they're running a risk since they don't have that knowledge. Would you not agree the captain, the pilot of the ship as it were, pilot in the sense of the captain, he must make, and he's responsible for making sure the ship or the plane is in proper condition to take off or to take the voyage. He must make a diagnosis, therefore, of the vehicle as well as the crew, the passengers, and the supplies. He therefore must set forward a treatment plan, that is to say, how to manage the condition of his ship and his crew towards some goal, and he must continuously monitor it, follow up. Why does he do that? Everything he does, would you not agree, must be for the benefit of the voyage itself. What would happen if he would run his ship the way a merchant is allowed to run his store? As an example, a merchant has some knowledge, let's do it. Merchant has the knowledge, obviously. Right? When he makes his decisions, is it to benefit the subject?
No. Well, it could be, yeah.
If the merchant were to run, if a local store, a merchant, was to run a store the way a physician runs his business, would you agree as people came in, he would treat them as patients and say, excuse me, you bought too much sugar last week and I want to make sure that, oh, 6 packs of beer, excuse me, you had your limit 2 weeks ago and you cannot go over it, right? Your condition isn't as good as it should be. I suggest before you come in and get these things that you want to buy, you run around the block several times and get in condition. Therefore, we don't enter into a voluntary agreement with the merchant, do we?
No.
No. And we don't want him to act as a person with an art.
Yeah.
We'll take the burden of our decisions, won't we?
Yeah.
That's right. Now look here. The dentist, does it fit the dentist? Dentist must have an ideal, right? Etc. Does all this fit? How about a bank robber? He has the knowledge. He makes the diagnosis of the condition of the bank. He must understand where the safe is. He has a certain plan. He wants a getaway, a follow-up. Where does it fail? Benefit. And? That's right. That ideal cannot be used as a measure to benefit the subject. The subject is a victim.
No, but if the bank robber were a teacher.
Oh, you're getting, oh, that's one of the two I was going to go for. Would you agree the coach is in the same thing? A good coach must have a very clear perception of what an athlete is, what a sport is, and on the basis of that make all the decisions? Now, you see, here's the real problem of history and social life. There are two, remember we said there are two people in here,
Okay.
and one of them you guessed at.
One is a Roshi.
One is the Roshi, the teacher.
Some Roshis are very successful because
That's right.
they don't want to have easy answers.
That's right. That's right. See, so one of the issues is, in this class of arts, do we dare put in two people? All right? Now I'll use the classic name, the philosopher. Because the philosopher in the old days is the guru of today. Right? Because they too pursue wisdom. Their highest goal is the achievement of that wisdom. That wisdom obviously is of a transcendent nature, transcendent, that is, to everyday experience, and therefore it functions in a similar way. Now let's follow this. But before we do it, let me make a bridge to another idea. The other person is going to be, and of course this is the 20th century, or maybe the basic problem of man. Would you agree all of these titles, the physician, the pilot, the dentist, the coach, they get their titles from the particular kind of knowledge they possess.
Yes.
But in reality, they're really nothing other than rulers. And the people who voluntarily enter into them are really subjects. But because it's a special kind of knowledge, we give them these titles. And when a physician, by the way, no longer benefits the patients, but only benefits himself, and the law gets after him, what do? We can't take away his knowledge. We can't take away his practice. We take away his title. You can't call yourself a this or a that. Can't call yourself a physician.
I've never heard of that happening in this country.
Can't call yourself a physician. Oh, no, you can't call yourself
No, positions you can,
They lose their
positions.
license, they can't practice.
can't practice, can't call yourself, you can't offer yourself to the public as a physician.
Well, lots of times they still keep practicing, just go to another city.
Well, okay, then they're acting though illegally.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's true. All right, ready for the next one then?
Okay.
Most important. And this is the whole subject of great debates. Can political science be an art? Can governing man be an art? Because if so, let's do it together.
Okay.
Therefore, people must enter into the state voluntarily. They must have a belief that the ruler will bring about a benefit.
Right.
And they must therefore risk it because they don't know whether the person has the knowledge.
Yeah.
Does it fit so far? Let's see. Now, if Pete Wilson were to run for office, we would ask him, would you not agree, the following questions? Peter, where is your diagnosis?
I think he had a bone physician.
But would you not agree, if it is like an art, we should ask for a diagnosis? All right? Then we'd ask him for his treatment plan. We would ask him for the follow-up and whether or not he has the skill to follow it up. And one other most important thing that runs through all of this, and I wanted to introduce it now, okay? I wanted to introduce it about this. It must have a curious feature to it. This is it. Whole. Every one of these people who has an art must approach it holistically.
Yeah.
If you met a physician who only could work on the right hand, or the left thumb, or the right leg, would you not agree he might be able to repair all kinds of things going with a part, but we would worry about whether the particular treatment plan that he's following, whether it has an effect on the other parts of the body.
Right.
Therefore, our necessary conclusion is, for all of these, that each of these people who has an art, they must treat the whole, and understand that the part relates to the whole. Therefore, we would ask Pete Wilson, would we not? Sir, would you please tell us the different divisions and parts in your society?
Yeah.
Identify all the segments of your society for us, and we'd see that all the segments are represented. Then we'd say, sir, would you please give us a diagnosis of the strengths and the weaknesses of each of these parts? Now that you've done that, certainly you want to bring them up to a level where the subjects benefit.
Right.
Oh, sir, would you tell us then how the strengths of one can complement the weaknesses of the other so that the whole can reach a higher level of functioning?
Right.
Because we want to make sure that not one particular segment of society is benefited. We want to see that the whole is benefited.
Say the same for Gingrich, too.
Yeah, oh yes. Now, if that's true, then our ruler must have a very clear idea, an ideal of a just society.
Right.
Therefore, the ideal here must be of a just society. Now, the idea of justice, that's a strange word, just. The English word fair is better, because the word justice takes on legalistic forms. The Greek idea of justice is much closer to what we want here. And that is, the idea of justice is that each part is doing its proper role and is functioning properly, both in respect to itself and how it can contribute its role to the whole.
Well, the medical doctors, they specialize in some areas, so it might be good for the heart, but it might be lousy for the kidneys.
But we wouldn't want him on our staff.
Oh.
We'd say, you're approaching it like a skill. You see, people who approach their knowledge as a skill are not interested in benefiting the whole. They may only want to benefit a part and for themselves.
But that's what we do.
Yeah, that's right, that's what we do. Right? So therefore, look here. What do you think will be the implications of this on our system, on any political system?